Hello everybody and welcome back to the Pennsylvania Berwind. This is episode number 22 and today we're going to be doing some work just outside of the Shawnee Team Track area that we were in the last couple of episodes. We're going to do some work on an apple orchard, which was a suggestion from you guys on my Discord chat there. And we're going to try to fill out some of this area, this big empty space that I was talking about at the end of the last episode. At least I think it was the last episode. We did a little bit of work in the live stream last week, so my brain is a little bit blurred. It's been a pretty chaotic past couple of weeks, so forgive me. But today we get a lot done, and there's a few jumps towards the end because I was just like, you know what, I gotta get this done. I'm just sick of this big empty space over here, and I'm just really tired of doing farmland also. So I'm trying to transition it into a suburban sort of neighborhood as we had talked about previously. So this is my attempt here, and as I had said, some of you guys on the Discord suggested that I do an orchard of some kind, and I just think that is a phenomenal idea because it made me think about my own life experiences. So, you know, if you don't know already, I spend a lot of time making these scenes based on things that I've done in my life, places I've been, my memories and experiences and stuff like that. And I think a lot of model railroaders tend to do that sort of thing. We recreate these places in our memories so we can kind of revisit them. So when the suggestion came up to do an orchard, I was like, yes, that is a brilliant idea because I go to the orchard every year, at least I try to. My brother and we try to go to this apple orchard with my grandfather and my mom and my dad and my whole family. We try to go every year. So we have this, it's just like a really great experience. We go spend the day at this farm, and they have like a petting zoo and all kinds of stuff there. And other stuff other than just apples. There's like peaches and other cool things like that. So we try to go there every year, and that's just what came to mind. And I was like, man, if I could recreate that sort of a little bit, this could be really cool. The things that I had seen when I was there, and I looked at some photographs, and I just started thinking about some of the little iconic bits and bobs that I can include in this. And so this place, the way it's laid out, there's a parking lot and then a big long dirt road that goes up to a farmhouse, which is what I'm putting down right here. And at that little farmhouse, you could buy apple cider donuts. That's where you cash out. That's where you get your maps of the whole orchard and stuff like that. And then behind it is like this old house, which is kind of what I put down just now to represent that. And just the whole layout of that is really cool. And in between is a picnic area and like a play area for kids. And off to the side from that is another little like sub farm. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but it's not apples. It's like tomatoes and pumpkins and peppers and other vegetation, other vegetables that you could pick and buy, eggplants, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's what I had in my mind, and I was like, okay, so I want this parking lot to be right off this big main road here, and I want this dirt road to kind of come off of it and go up and sort of have this similar sort of feel. So I guess that's just trying to describe to you what my thought process was here. So working on this area, I had to blank out some of the terrain here that I had put down. I pretty much pasted on grass across the whole board, so I had something other than this grid texture. But I needed to get rid of it because I wanted to plant these apple trees in nice, neat rows. So I needed to be able to see the grid, and just using the transparency overlay thing just didn't work. So by the way, these apple trees that I'm using, I think some of them are apple trees. And actually, upon closer inspection, some of them are not apple trees. They have like flowers on them, but from far away they look like apples. So I'm just gonna leave it. If it bothers anybody, we can replace it later on. But from far away, it looks good. You have to get like really close to it to be able to notice it. But these are on the download station. They're part of the STRMM tree download bundle or whatever you would call it. And they look really great. They're just the right, I guess, resolution to represent a nice apple orchard. So what I was doing here was I lined them up and I did some texturing. And one thing that I noticed with a lot of these apple farms is in between the trees, it's a little bit dirty because people are walking or trucks are going through there and stuff like that. So you have kind of a worn down dirt path. But underneath the trees is usually where the grass grows. So I wanted to make sure that I can get that kind of look. And thankfully, the texturing tool was able to get skinny enough, I guess you could say that, to get that sort of look. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And once I did a couple of rows, I just copied and pasted it across the whole grid. And that was the other reason why I wanted to line this up with the grid, is because the stupid copy and paste tool will snap to the grid, so it has to be perfectly matched up. And I even ran into some issues with it not lining up properly. I'm still not even clear on where the borders are of these, of the marquee tool that you use. I don't know, sometimes it doesn't line up and sometimes it does. It's very bizarre. So anyway, I started doing that throughout this whole thing. I laid out the trees, did the texturing underneath, and then copied and pasted it. And the group that I just put down just a moment ago is a different group. They do not have apples on the trees. So I wanted to add a little bit of variety. And here I'm laying down, I think these are some flower trees. So I wanted to add some variety so it wasn't just a whole bunch of the same tree, because a lot of apple orchards have different types of apples, right? There's a variety of apples out there. There's Golden Delicious, Red Delicious, whatever else. I don't know, there's tons of them. Honeycrisp. I don't really eat a whole lot of apples, so I don't know all the varieties out there. But I wanted there to be a good amount of diversity to it, because from a background standpoint, I needed to have some kind of different shapes and some different colors. So that was the only way to sort of replicate that. So with that said, and that done, now moving on to doing some of the rest of the gardens. I guess it would be called gardens, not like sub-farms. They're gardens, right? So I wanted to represent those areas with some corn and some other vegetable splines that I was able to find. And just line them up really nice and just kind of get that same feel that from the farm that I go to. And it's not an exact copy. It's not even the same layout or anything like that. Really all I was doing was taking some of these images and these iconic moments from this location that I had been to, and I'm just trying to replicate them here as best as I can. And I wanted to, again, work on the blank grid so that I could get an idea of how to shape things, because sometimes when you're working on like an already textured grid, especially that grass texture, it really, it kind of gets confusing, I guess, to the mind. So here you could see me finally doing some texturing, and this is my technique. I went through in between the trees first with the dirt texture, went up and down, and this looks really cool. I'm glad that I did this, because I was like, I don't know how interesting this is going to be to watch me texture all this, but from this God's eye perspective is pretty cool. So then the next thing I did was I picked this Merva texture that I'm always using, and it's kind of like a fallen grass brush sort of texture. So I went underneath the trees again with that, just lightly here and there. I was kind of clicking on and off with my mouse. I wasn't holding it down and dragging. And then I added the green grass and then a couple shades of darker green grass in some areas just to create some low lights. Highlights and lowlights is what you would call it. So again, I'm just trying to fill every square place that I can fit some apples here. And I left some space there. You could see some empty spots. Maybe those trees got diseased and they died, or there was a fire or something like that. So there's not always an exact perfect grid of trees throughout the whole thing. And I did mix them up too. There were a few different sizes of trees. I'm not sure if I had that in the video or if I did it off camera, but I did delete sort of like every other tree and then mix it up with a shorter tree or a different variety of tree. So now with this house that I'm putting here, I'm bringing it up a little bit on this hillside because I wanted it to have a nice view. And I think I spin the camera around in a moment and we'll get to see it. But it kind of overlooks what's going to be the rest of sort of like a suburbia. I'm not going to go like a dense suburban neighborhood, but something overlooking the valley below sort of deal. So I wanted them to have a nice view, and it overlooks the orchard, and it's kind of like a really nice location. So I did want to include that. And while I was doing this, I'm asking myself, and you guys might have seen it on my Twitter, I'm like, why am I spending so much time on this background scene? Because in reality, and you'll see it, well, you probably saw it in the opening shot there, underneath my logo. But it's kind of far away from the tracks. It's really not a significant scene, but I don't know, I guess I was really inspired by it and I really wanted to spend some time with it. And especially with the memories, once I started getting into my own mind, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta include this and I gotta do that. So that was my logic there, and we'll see. Well, here now moving on to the flower garden area. There's also like a wildflower garden at this place. But you'll see towards the end of this time lapse, I'll start getting into adding the neighborhood, and I did some of that on camera and some of that off camera. I'll talk more about that in live mode in just a moment, but I do want to tell you before I'm going to talk for another minute or two, and then I'm gonna give you a song like I normally do. So I just want to give you some updates on the P&B Phase 1 and what the story is with that, because some of you guys have been asking me. Phase 1, it turns out that there's some scenery that I used, and I knew it too. There's some scenery that I used that's from third-party sites, or it's not available, or whatever. There's something wrong with it, and it's some of these grasses that I've used all over the place. So I'm trying to replace those with some of this grassy stuff and some other things. There's also a few other trees and some other little details and stuff like that are no longer available. So I need to replace them, and I've been doing that off camera. Just trying to replace some of the assets here and there and fix things that might be broken or might not be broken. I've actually been working with David Ackridge. If you've been here for a while, you'll recognize his name. So I've been working with him. I sent him a copy of the PNB. He's telling me what files he's missing, and then I'm going through and trying to figure out where they're from and replacing them. And then, so the next thing I want to update, so hopefully we'll have that for you guys pretty soon. Once it's ready, I'm definitely going to release the Phase 1 to you guys sometime soon. The next update is just on the main central. That should be coming back pretty soon, hopefully with the next patch. The problem that we were having with the dem file apparently, supposedly, has been corrected in the next Trainz patch, so I'm hearing. So once we get the actual version of that out, we can test the map. Then we'll know for sure, and hopefully we can get back to the main central series, because I'm really bummed that I haven't been able to build on that. But that's all for the time lapse for now. I'll see you guys in live mode in just a few moments. Alright dudes, last couple things to go over. First thing I want to talk about is just some thank yous to a few donors. First one is Nick Stamper, so I want to say thank you so much. Nick donated. So Nick, I renamed this place over here. This is your homestead, Nick's homestead. So thank you so much for the donation. The next was Robert Shaw, who donated previously, and the grain elevator down here is Shaw's grain elevator. So thanks again, Robert, for the second donation. Really appreciate it. And lastly, we have Robert Huron. So thank you so much, guys, for those kind donations. Okay, so let's get into wrapping up this video, talk about this build. I am really pleased with how this came out. I will just tell you that right off the bat. I think this looks a lot like an orchard. like the real deal. So I like how I laid everything out, and I had this little farm here, added some cows over here just to break things up a little tiny bit, and just add sort of a transition as we go out of this sort of like countryside farmville sort of area. Just break it up a little bit and help it transition in. And I think it looks really great. Again, I mean, maybe I put too much detail into it, being that the railroad tracks are all the way here, and, there's a lot of stuff going on back there. But, I kind of like the idea of hopping off the tracks and exploring just a little tiny bit. And it's kind of weird that these plants are populating on me like that. I guess maybe there's something to do with the load. But anyway, I like the idea of getting off the rails and just kind of flying around and checking out some of these back scenes and stuff like that. So I think that that's pretty fun. In the future, I think I'd like to add some more people and populate it a little bit more. This neighborhood, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm very good at doing neighborhoods. I'm really not good at doing neighborhoods. And I kind of just don't care for this neighborhood. Like, this is like a real background scene to me. It's not like this background scene. This is just another element to just fill in space in my head. So it's all right, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is that is putting me off. I don't know if it's the trees that I used, because I mixed in the billboard trees with the speed trees. I'm not sure if it's because the road just goes into the void down there. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm not super pleased with it, but it does the job. It fills the space. So I think plans for the future, I extended this road out this way, and I think I'll probably fill this space with some more developments, maybe spread out the houses a little bit more. But again, we're going to be transitioning back into civilization somehow. We're going to have this nice sort of watershed scene over here, which we'll do in the future, and have to figure out something over here. Just fill up some of these places, and I'm just so burned out from doing all this farm stuff. So what we're going to do in the next episode, and I don't know what, because I actually don't have a plan for it, but we're going to move. We're fine that we're going to just jump all this, and we're going to do something over here by Allegheny, because I need to do something industrial, because this is just getting, this is just getting hard. But I like it. I'm happy with the way that it's looking. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to fill in, which I'll probably do either off camera or during a live stream, and that includes some scenes back here and down this way. We did this scene, if you missed it, we did it during my last live stream. And it was pretty fun. It was just a little build. We didn't build for too long. And also have to connect this road out that way. So let's see if I got a couple more things on my my note list here. Gave you the Phase 1 update. I gave the shout out to the donors. Oh yeah, so the last two things are, I finally set up a Facebook page. So if you guys are on Facebook and you want to go follow my exploits over there, go ahead and look up Approach Medium on Facebook. And hopefully, I think I'm the only one there. So you can drop me a like over there, and I'll post some updates for those of you that are on the Facebook. I did have a number of you asking me to set that up, and I was really reluctant for a while, but finally pulled the trigger on it. So anyway, you can head over there and drop me a like. But other than that, that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys would like to support me, you don't have to give me a donation. What you can do is hit that like button below. You can hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And as a reminder, if you are planning to buy Trainz Model Railroad, or any Trainz product, use the link in the description below. That is an affiliate link that does give me a little bump on my channel here. It does help me out a lot. So if you're going to buy any payware or anything like that from the Trainz portal, please do use that link, because it does help me out a ton. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to get some more episodes out in the future of various things. I've been kind of lacking on video content recently. At least that's how it feels. So I hope to get more out soon. I've got lots of big plans for the spring, summertime. So thanks again for watching. Once again, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.